Good evening, one and all. We welcome you to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2022, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art Sciences and Well-being. So before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue to today's session. So today there are no much important commemorations as such. But one thing in the history of India, let's see what has happened on 19 December. In 1857, the trial of Raja Nahar Singh, who was arrested and then was prisoned at Metcalfe House, began on Saturday at 11 hours at Delhi. In 1860, all events are on 19th December, so I'm not repeating the day and month again. So in 1860, Dalhousie, Governor General of India, 1848 to 1856, he died. And in 1917, Ashok Nath Banerjee, Governor of Karnataka, was born. And in 1919, Sunil Kumar Banerjee, cricket test umpire for first test from 1963 to 64, was born in Bengal. 1927, Uttar Pradesh was formed by an automobile association. In 1945, Gandhiji's lays stone of the C.F. Andrews Memorial Hospital at Shantiniketan. 1952, Nehru announces that the government decision for establishing an Andhra state constituting Telugu-speaking areas of the state of Madras, excluding the city. And in 1961, Goa was liberated after Portuguese surrendered to the Indian troops. And in 1966, Rajesh Kumar Chauhan, cricketer, Indian off-spinner since 1993, was born in Ranchi. In 1969, Nayan Ramlal Mongia, cricketer, Indian test batsman, wicket-keeper, 1994, was born in Baroda. In 1978, the Lok Sabha expels Indira Gandhi from the House and sentences her to imprisonment for a long term, lasting its prorogation. She was released from jail on December 26. And in 1984, today, on this day, 2,500 people got killed in Bhopal gas tragedy. And in 1988, Uma Shankar Joshi, Gyan Peeth Awardee and Gujarati poet has died. In 1994, critical stores of IAF was de-inducted by AN 124 contracted by UN. Bulky stores were bought by ship, Mogadishu. In 1994, K.A.P. Vishwanathan, famous Tamil author, passed away. In 1995, unidentified aircraft drops a heap of sophisticated arms and ammunition, including AK-47 rifles, rocket launchers, and anti-tank grenades in Pulluru district in West Bengal. In 1999, the president and the prime minister expressed shock over the bid to assassinate the Sri Lankan president Chandrika Kumaratunga. In 2000, a massive blaze guts Mehboob Studio, one of the oldest in Mumbai city. In 2000, the government suffers an embarrassing defeat with the Rajya Sabha adopting a motion recording its disagreement with the Prime Minister for defending 3 of his cabinet colleagues charged in the demolition case. Actually, the Bhopal disaster, the gas tragedy, was on the night of 2nd and 3rd December 1984. Some events are wrongly reported. Some references, though I just checked it, cross-checked it, I got doubt. Even sometimes, these references can also go wrong. That's why we have to be very careful when we check the details. Maybe other, because these are historic events and they are based on various things. It's sometimes very difficult to give the exact dates. And this. Okay. Anyway, these are common when we are dealing with history and historical events, because everyone keeps writing their own this thing and it becomes difficult unless and until we have a genuine source for such events. Okay, so we'll move on to Goa Liberation Day today. So it is observed every year on December 19th in India, as it is regarded as one of the most significant days in the history of Goa. So located at around 250 miles south of Mumbai, Goa is one of the India's smallest states and was previously under Portuguese possession for about 450 years. The Goa liberation is the celebration of the day Indian armed forces freed Goa from Portuguese rule on December 19, 1961. So the day is also particularly important for recognizing the achievements Goa has made in recent years, accomplishing milestones in the tourism sector and maintaining its position as having the highest per capita income among all the states and union territories of India. So Goa's Liberation Day is all about celebrating the independence of Goa from the Portuguese. Goa is a state on the southwestern coast of India with the region known as Konkan. It is bordered by the states of Maharashtra to the north, Karnataka to the east and south, as well as the Arabian Sea to the west. Its capital is Panaji, which lies in the north central coast of the mainland district. After being freed from Portuguese possession, it became part of India in 1962 and was officially recognized as an independent in 1987. On August 15, 1947, when India gained its independence, Goa was still crumbling under 450 years of Portuguese rule. The Portuguese were among the first to colonize parts of India and refused to give up their hold over Goa and other Indian territories, even in the wake of India's independence. Following a myriad of unsuccessful negotiations and diplomatic efforts with Portuguese, the former Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, decided that military intervention was the only option, and that 36-hour military operation conducted from December 18, 1961 was codenamed Operation Vijay, meaning Operation Victory, and involved attacks by the Indian Navy, Air Force, and Army. So during this historic moment, Indian troops reclaimed the Goan territory with little resistance, and General Manuel Antonio Vezelo E. Silva signed the certificate of surrender. 451 years of Portuguese rule in this region officially came to an end, and the territory was taken back by India on December 19, 1961. However, this action incited mixed response internationally at that time. Though many praised the move and backed India, others, including Portugal, criticized the Indian forces' invasion of Goa, forgetting that they have invaded India. This is a history that has been misinterpreted many times. These foreign invaders call themselves as, being invaders. They portray themselves differently and call others as invaders. So that's why these invaders still, unfortunately, have roots from other countries, staying in country, are still trying to dominate. It's most unfortunate, but sometimes being good and being human, that is also cost we have to pay for the invaders. Again, that's a different story altogether. And Goa Liberation Day is marked by an abundance of events and festivities in Goa. A torchlight procession is ignited from 3 different locations in the state, eventually all meeting at Azad Maidan. This is where a tribute is made to those who lost their lives in the takeover of Goa. Various cultural programs like Sugam Sangeet, an Indian musical genre with poetry in Kannada language, are also held to honor the occasion. So despite present day Goa being India's smallest state by area, Goa's history is long and diverse. Usgalimal rock engravings exhibit some of the earliest traces of human settlement in India, and the Mauryan and Satavahana empires ruled modern day Goa during the Iron Age. In 1510, Portuguese conquered Goa. They have invaded Goa when the governor of Portuguese India, Afonso de Albuquerque, captures the city. Even though Goa is not among the cities, Albuquerque was ordered to take over. In 1947, India gained independence and became an independent nation after British colonial rule after almost 200 years. Despite this, the Portuguese refused to give up Goa. See such arrogant people at that time. And they themselves claim. That's why when we look at the history, we can see the dark side of all these countries and invaders who have visited, and they claim themselves as. That's why learning of history is very much important, to know the true colors of invaders and what kind of atrocities they have committed, so that the history does not repeat. And Indian troops reclaimed the Goan territory, officially ending 451 years of Portuguese rule in this region in 1961. So regarded as one of the most significant days in the history of Goa, also considered the Forgotten War of Freedom, December 19 commemorates the freeing of Goa from Portuguese rule by Indian armed forces and the complete independence of the Indian subcontinent. The origin of the city name, Goa, is unclear. In ancient literature, Goa is known by many names such as Gomanchala, Gopakapatana, Gopakapatanam, Gopakapuri, Govapuri, Govam, and Gomantak. And other historical names for Goa are Sindapur, Sindabur, Mahaspatnam, and many more. So some Portuguese still stay in Goa, but they no longer have the power. But they are there because India is a very humble and empathetic country, and it provides and offers the extensive freedom for everyone on the planet. It is the most generous country in the world. So they are still there, and some speak also Portuguese nowadays. Although an essential religious language, 1,500,000 students were learning Portuguese in Goa in 2015. So totaling around 10,000 to 12,000 Portuguese speakers in the state. So if you are in a Goa, then it is an opportunity to attend the annual torchlight processions that takes place on Goa Liberation Day, which is celebrated with joy and enthusiasm and is kicked off with these processions and the 3 separate parades following from the torchlights lit from 3 different locations. So spectacular, you could witness all of them at once. All the torchlight processions and parades culminated the Azad Maidan, where respects are paid to the martyrs who fought in the struggle for independence. And the Sugam Sangeet is one of the cultural programs held on Goa Liberation Day. This is a form of classical vocal music that incorporates words with a different rhythm or style. This Indian musical genre is a poetic expression and a wonderful part of liberation celebrations for the Goan people. Be sure to listen online or offline and enjoy it. And Goa has a rich and diverse history dating back to prehistoric times. Amazingly, prehistoric engravings at Usgamilal were discovered in the early 1990s and studied the Institute of Oceanography in Goa. There is even evidence of a prehistoric bone shamanic practice after various dynasties ruled Goa. The era of Portuguese autocratic rule began in 1510 after Vasco da Gama fleets landed in Calicut, with Goa becoming the center of Portuguese control in India. Portuguese influence can also still be seen in the Goa culture of today. In fact, this Calicut and also these Kozhikode and other areas, especially, these are the areas where these foreigners invaded and visited India, and that is a place where even Christianity also started in India. From there, it spread all over India. So that's how Christianity entered into the India. So that is one of the other historical events that has taken place. Earlier, there was no Christianity in India as such. And a forested land, Goa not only consisted of long sandy beaches, around 20% of the landfills within the beautiful Western Ghats of India, a vast mountain range and a treasure trove of biodiversity. And India, as well as their state independence, was also celebrated today from 1961. And there are 6 conservation areas where visitors can explore wildlife, which contain rare birds, including the long-billed vulture, darter, great-pied hornbill, and many more. Over 400 species of birds we can see. And Goa boasts one of the India's largest waterfalls, the Dudhsagar Falls, which is 117 feet high and can be found on the far east side of the state. And some of the oldest rocks in India can be found in Goa between Molem and Anmod, classified as transgenic genesis. These rocks are over 3,600 million years old. And there is so much more to Goa than beaches and parties. It is famous honeymoon and holiday destination with boundless greenery, alluring old landmarks, and endless oceans. Goa, in many ways, is the paradise of India. It is important that such a place celebrates its independence and culture. And celebrating Goa Liberation Day means to celebrate Goa and its fascinating history that makes the state what it is today. It has been ruled by many dynasties, not just by Portuguese. You can trace this back if you are even ever lucky enough to visit. The state was under the rule of Kadambas for 300 years, and it has various monuments that were built in that era, the most famous among Tamdi Surla. And only Goa allows a two-wheel taxi. Goa in many ways different from rest of India with its own culture and rules. One of these is that the only state in India that allows a two-wheeler taxi. All you have to do is pay the biker, that is pilot, and ask him to drop at your desired location. But now with this two-wheeler ride by Ola, Uber, and other companies. Now it is also quite common among most of the states and places. So now you can see even two-wheeler taxi or the ride even here in major metro cities. So apart from that, we have not much greater commemorations today. So with this, we shall conclude the sessions for the day, and we will see you tomorrow. So before leaving, kindly fill up the feedback form. Take care. Good night. Yeah, feedback form has been raised in the form of polls. You can see overall feedback form. Quickly fill up the feedback form. Just now the feedback form has been raised. You can see a window. Otherwise, you can also access the polls from the menu options.